guys, welcome back to Briar Society. Today we have a Cricut tutorial for you suitable for all levels, and we're showing you how to work with Window Cling to jazz up your bedroom mirror for those getting ready photos on the morning of your wedding. So I've opened the Cricut design space, and this is my design that I made earlier, but for you beginners I'm just going to show you quickly how to make this alongside me. So as you can see there, I just selected text down the left-hand pane and typed in my first word, which is hey in this case. You can resize just by dragging, and then you select your font. In this case, I'm using Century Gothic, which is in my system. It's much easier to filter by what's in your system if you're not paying for the platform. So just select that, and then just check your settings. So you can see the font size there, you can make it bigger using those arrows. You can change it to bold, but I'm going to keep it regular for today. Then check you're set to cut. That's very important because we're just cutting, we're not printing, we're not doing anything else that needs to set to cut. You don't need any fill, and I'm just going to change the font size by dragging. I'm going to create a second text box for my second word just because it's a different font and it makes it easier. So it starts off creating it in the font that you've just used, but that's fine. I'm going to resize, drag it around, and then I'm going to select my font. And I know that I've used something called Snell Roundhand for this, if you want to use the same font as me. As you can see, it looks a bit different at the moment. The letter spacing's all off and I need to change it to bold. So again, make sure it's set to cut. Now you can adjust the letter spacing by just using these arrows to move things close together, like so. Now as you see, that's joined most of the handwriting up, but there's still this big gap here and I want to close that up. So I'm going to ungroup the letters so you end up with individual letters. And if you just drag your cursor over it, it'll kind of group that set of letters and then you can move them around as a unit. Just saves you a few seconds. Again, I want the U and the L a bit closer, so I'm just going to repeat that process and bring it across. Just going to fiddle with it until I'm happy it's all in line. So now I'm just regrouping it all back together so I can just mess around with the size all as one group, so you don't have to do the individual bits that you've just separated. I like to position mine where I want it in relation to the other text box, just so it's easier for me when I'm transferring later on, but you don't have to do that. Okay, so there you got it. So I'm going back to my design at the top. So the only last step I need to do is to weld my design together, and that's this icon down here. So I'm just going to hit that button and it creates a single design. So when it moves on to your mat in the next step, it's so much more straightforward. And then I'm just going to get rid of the one that I created to show you guys. So now I am ready to cut. So grab your standard grip mat for this particular type of vinyl, the cling. And here is my window cling. I just cut the piece to size, you know the sort of dimensions you want for your mirror, and it's all measured in inches, so it's quite helpful if you take your measurement in inches too. And then apply this liner side down, so the shiny side up facing you and the one with the lines on the back. Then hit make it. Okay, now you can see it on your mat. This is like a print preview, but you can actually move things. I'm going to hit mirror because I want to transfer my image onto my mirror using the liner. You don't have to do that. You can take it off manually and apply it by hand, but I just think it's so much easier with sort of fiddly designs like this. So put mirror on so it flips the image. Then as I say, you can move this around. It places it where it uses the least amount of material, but but I like to give it a little bit more breathing room. But yeah, I didn't originally realise you could move those, so top tip there. And then yeah, we're done. So then you've got to select your material. I've already selected my window cling, but if yours isn't in your list already, just browse all materials, right, and just search for window cling. Select it and then come back. So I'll just click mine. Next up, inserting your fine point blade. So we're going to load our blade into clamp B, so you just open it up, grab your blade. So it's the fine point one, so it's the one with the almost barely there point. Okay, and then we just pop it in the top here, close the clamp like so, and it just locks it into place. Once you're happy that that's securely in place, we are going to load our mat. So the little arrow button on top of your machine should now be flashing. Okay, so we're gonna load it in like so. Make sure you go under these like guide markers. Then press that flashing arrow button on the top and the machine will automatically drag the mat into the machine. Then you can press the flashing C Cricut icon and the cut will start. Once your design's done, it will eject it. The button on the top with the arrows will flash again. You just press it and it will come out all the way. And you can see, just with the light there, that it's cut through. Next up, take your weeding tool. So we're going to get rid of what we call the negative space, so this what we don't want to transfer onto our mirror. So these are like the gaps in the letters and the surrounding space. You just need to get it off the mat. So to try and stop the material itself curling, you want to peel the mat away like so, and then you're left with your design. Just double check you've gotten rid of all the bits in between the letters. Okay, and then you're ready to apply to your mirror. You need your scraper, and then we're going to turn it around. This is why we mirrored the image, and place it where you want it to end up on your mirror. Okay. And then it's just simply a case of taking your scraper tool and pressing it and scraping it against the surface, and it will start to take and cling. And then when you're done, you can just start to peel that back. Just go slowly and gently, just making sure that it has all stuck on. If it hasn't, just as you go, just use your scraper tool just to push it on as you peel, just as I'm doing here. What I didn't realise initially with this particular vinyl is that it's two-sided. Most of them, obviously the sticky side is the side that's attached to the backing, but this one works both ways, which is a lot less hassle once you realise that. So remember that you can apply it this way. So now I'm just taking that scraper tool and just pushing out any air bubbles. I don't know if you necessarily can see on camera, but they're just ever so fine, but they'll just push out. And then you're done. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and we'll see you next time.